My name is Rachel, and the name of our agency is Brighten. Our training is focused on children with autism and how play therapy can help. Play therapy in children with autism aims to engage them in playful activities of their choice and interest. It helps them to express themselves freely and comfortably. Play therapy depends on building partnerships and trustable, solid relationships between the therapist and the children through involvement in the joyful activities of playing. Play therapy helps children with autism to change their way of self-expression from unwanted behavior, such as aggressive, self-injurious, property-destructive, or tantrum behavior, to more non-injurious, expressive behavior using toys or activities of their choice as their words. The main aim of play therapy is to prevent or solve psychosocial difficulties and achieve optimal child health growth and development. It enables the child to overcome different obstacles in the pathway to proper development, helps the child to be more responsible in his behavior, and develop successful strategies and create solutions to problems. It also trains the child to respect and accept himself and others, learn how to express his feelings and emotions, and respect others' thoughts and feelings. Since verbal expression is difficult in children with autism, play therapy offers them different ways to express their suppressed emotions. Children with autism have poor social skills, so play therapy emphasizes the relationship, building trust with the person through interaction and having fun with the play therapist. Play therapy also helps children with autism experience how to feel various interaction styles, whether they realize that or not. The child experiences freedom of choice during playing, like choosing what he likes and desires, controlling the speed and time of activities of the session, and deciding what he wants to do. Play helps him develop independence with time, a valuable developmental stimulant. Practitioners can understand this by knowing that autism is a spectrum with heterogeneous symptoms. Every child with autism is unique and responds differently. Some play therapy techniques can include superhero play, in which the children are asked to draw their favorite superheroes with their superpowers. The therapist then can help the child relate their strengths to these superpowers and use them positively. Another technique is called clay play, which allows the child to show their creativity while expressing what they feel inside. When sculpting the technique, this helps the children relieve stress. They use the art skills to sculpt characters who may contribute to their mental health disorder. Therapists gather information from the interaction and use it to offer solutions. As social workers, we must acknowledge that every child responds differently to different things. Some traditional play therapy methods have been constantly shown to improve social and emotional skills in children with autism over time. Recognizing the signs and symptoms of autism spectrum disorder is the first step in helping clients with the condition. These indicators can vary, but many include difficulty with social skills such as making eye contact or understanding emotions, repetitive or restricted behaviors like rocking or flapping, sensory issues like being over or under sensitive to sounds, communication challenges such as delayed speech, and cognitive differences such as exceptional memory or creativity. Play therapy can be used as a diagnostic and therapeutic tool. The play therapist observes the child during playing to identify the child's problem, assesses his or her problem. Then the therapist deals with the problem accordingly by scaffolding and supporting the child to learn and execute self-expression and communication via his or her thoughts of the inner world. The therapist helps overcome unresolved trauma, enables the child to master and execute a new coping mechanism, redirects inappropriate behaviors, and enriches adaptive behavioral responses. As social workers, we can help the family of a person with autism spectrum disorder by providing information, education, and resources about autism spectrum disorder and available services. Offering counseling support groups or other care can help the family cope with challenges and emotions of caring for someone with autism spectrum disorder. It is also important to encourage family involvement and participation in decision making and goal setting. Promoting family strengths and resilience and celebrating achievements and milestones is another key strategy to empower the family.
Hi guys, I'm Malia, and today I will be discussing ethical considerations and the intervention methods. So starting with ethical consideration, ethics in practice seeks to ensure that social workers are doing the right thing at the right place. It is all about demonstrating professionalism when it comes to assisting individuals to overcome challenges that they are facing and preventing situations where legal and ethical issues might arise and taint the profession. In implementing child play tools for affected population, the primary consideration will be informed consent. Before a social worker introduces child play therapy, tools, and treatment, it will be important to obtain informed consent from the parent. The parent must be aware that the tools are being used in a therapy and be educated on the benefits and danger of the same. Second, the tools being used must demonstrate respect for the autonomy of the child. Children diagnosed with autism faces a challenge in expressing themselves, and the therapist must be kept enough to observe if the child likes the tools being used. Third, the tools used should be safe and of any harm of the child. The tools used should not harm the child emotionally or physically. That is very, very important. And lastly, it is important to consider the cultural sensitivity of the tool being used for therapy. Social workers should be culturally competent, which explains the needs for a proper cultural assessment before the tools are displayed. As for the intervention method, upon ensuring that ethical considerations are factored in some of the intervention models that could be in the tools include the augmentative and alternative communication model that seeks to use the tools to enhance communication amongst the affected population. Who are children with autism in this case? Applied behavior analysis is another intervention that would prove critical in nurturing the appropriate behavior. Using the tools, children diagnosed with autism can be encouraged to communicate effectively as an applied behavior that the tool seeks to reinforce.
Thank you, Rachel and Malia, for speaking about Brian's strategies and ethical considerations and the intervention. Looks like the only thing left for us to do is actually build our safe place. So in the video provided by Sabrina, we can see how she's practicing all these wonderful principles and strategies previously mentioned. At Brighten, what we would want to do is expand and develop our agency like none other. And that way, we want to add our own unique elements so that as a group, we deploy, the use of various sensory toys that can be tactile, visual, auditory, or even olfactory. Of course, designated spaces to incorporate family sessions because, if we're working in a room, it's going to be a little cramped if a family shows up and maybe they're 5 or 6. Minimal furniture and obstructions. This way the space looks like almost a jungle gym because that's what we want to try to persuade and convince when we're working with these clients. We don't want it to be an office space and traditional and come sit down and talk about your feelings. We rather engage them in the play activations and have those conversations and address. And also for safety, of course, since, big heavy furniture isn't going to be ideal for what we want to run. And then, of course, a snack pantry because, we all need it re-energized after a lengthy session. For practitioners, some elements that we should consider is wearing athletic shoes and appropriate clothing for the various activities that we may engage in. And since we intend to service as many clients as possible, it would be ideal to have 2 centers on opposite sides of the town or city, wherever we're working in, and be within a quarter mile of a major transportation station just so that those who don't have their own vehicle to get to us still have the option to show up, not have a lengthy distance walk, and then still be able to make it back to that major transportation center on time so that they can get the minimal amount of routes back home.
Hi there, I just wanted to do a quick debrief over the play therapy demonstration. Through this module, I just had a student that had limited verbalization. We had parental consent to do this as well. But I really just used the opportunity to notate how he played with the characters and in what order, where he placed them, things like that. For example, like I noticed he kept the police car and the policeman together across the school. I do know that student for the first time is seeing a police officer on campus at a school every day here in Texas as of this school year. And so that could be something that symbolizes an experience that he has. I also noticed that there was a kid who was sad based off of the facial expressions on the caricature. And he kept him away and alone from everyone else. So there is some emotional regulation or emotional knowledge, intelligence there that is happening. Even though he has limited verbalization, it is very clear that he is picking up different cues. And so being able to utilize play therapy allows for a different kind of observation and understanding of events. It's also a great opportunity to symbolize and teach coping mechanisms. And then also something to notate in working with these students, you're going to have students that like to sit at the table like this student, or you're going to have students that like to sit on the floor or sit on the bean bags. So it's very important, like I wore today, to wear comfortable clothes, something that you can get down on the ground, but it still is also comfortable regardless of what's going on in the classroom. And that was just basically all that I had. I notated on the experience that I had with that client today.